What's going on, YouTube? So as you know, the quintessential family sedan has transitioned in recent years from the midsize sedan to the compact crossover. Kia has long offered the Sportage in this segment, but what I'm standing next to right now is the all-new next generation offered for the very first time in a hybrid model. This 2023 Sportage is taking on the segment in a way it never has before by seriously increasing the size, technology, and number of trim levels to appeal to as many families as possible. So join me here in beautiful, sunny, and very windy Palm Springs, California to see if this all-new Kia Sportage truly offers something for everyone. Alrighty guys, so Mason was not able to join me on this trip, so it's just me today. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and film this first-person perspective. So I'm going to turn around and just kind of talk about the vehicle since I don't really have a gimbal or cameraman or anything like that right now. But here we go. This is, of course, the 2023 Sportage Hybrid like we were talking about. Of course, with the hybrid, I think a big thing I want to talk about straight from the start here is going to be your trim level. So with the hybrid model, you're going to have three trim levels. The LX trim level, the EX trim level, that's what this model is, and then you have the SX Prestige. So that does mean that you're missing the SX trim level. You're also missing all of the rugged and off-road focused trim levels, the X Line and the X Pros. So that's something to keep in mind if you're choosing between those, but that does mean with the hybrid, all of them are going to come with the sleeker design. Of course, if you were getting the X Pro models, those are going to give you rugged trim down at the bottom, a more aggressive looking front fascia, and of course just a more rugged overall look. But as far as what you get with the hybrid model, I am happy to say they didn't really change anything. Hybrid is going to be exactly the same in terms of your exterior aesthetic from the standard gas-powered model. So up here in the front, we have that newest rendition of the Kia Tiger Nose grille. Nice gloss black finish through here. You've got the silver accent, of course, the updated Kia logo up top. And then like I was saying, since we don't have any off-road trim levels, that does mean the lower fascia is going to be nice and sleek and have the little silver accents as well. Now, importantly though, we have these brand new, really cool LED headlights with this new generation. So what you're looking at is a standard LED across all hybrid models as well as the entire Sportage lineup. You have the super distinct LED daytime running lights as well. Standard across the lineup, they go all the way down like that and look, like I said, very, very unique. Now these are going to be reflector LEDs on the LX as well as this EX you see today. However, you can get projector LEDs if you go for the top end SX Prestige. If you were to choose that, they would also throw in LED fog lamps at the bottom. Now in terms of your ground clearance, every single model that has all-wheel drive is going to have 8.3 inches of ground clearance, which is a pretty substantial improvement over the last generation. Now let's go ahead and move on to the wheels like always. So when it comes to the hybrid model, you actually do have distinct wheel options from the other models in the lineup. So you're going to have 17-inch alloys on the base LX and then 18-inch alloys on both this EX as well as the SX Prestige. Now that's something to keep in mind. If you're choosing the SX Prestige Hybrid, it is going to top out with this wheel size, whereas the gas-powered model would give you a larger 19-inch alloy with a similar design but larger. Of course, that's for aerodynamics and efficiency. But these wheels actually look very nice. I love the design, very expressive. You do have a little bit of a thicker tire since the wheel is smaller, which is nice. And then coming up here to our mirrors, if you go for the EX trim level or higher, that's where you're going to get the LED turn signal indicator as well as blind spot monitoring and heating. Now let's pull back here and take a look at our side profile. A big thing about this Sportage is it is a lot bigger than the last generation. It's 183.5 inches long, 7.1 inches larger than the last generation. Of course, the last generation didn't have a hybrid model at all, but you understand that that now means this is gone from one of the smallest vehicles in the segment to one of the largest vehicles in the segment, and it leapfrogs what you have in the RAV4 and the CRV hybrid models. Now, in terms of features and things to take a look at, Our side trim here is going to be a matte black on your two lower trim levels. The SX Prestige will add this into a gloss black. I also want to point out, because of the way the trims are structured with the hybrid, you cannot get the two-tone roof up at the top, but you do still get the nice gloss black roof rails at the top. Now as we come around to the rear design, I particularly like this angle of the new Sportage. It has a really sleek look. It looks very similar actually to that EV6 full electric crossover they launched earlier this year. You got your big branding for Kia up there in the middle, and then you've got the nice full-length LED tail lights which slide all over here. Nice sleek design. I love how this kind of has this concave effect right here. Also, the wiper is hidden up there for a nice and sleek look. Most of the rivals don't do that. Here's really the only way you're going to notice this is a hybrid model on the exterior is you have the HEV. So it actually doesn't even say hybrid, it just says HEV. And then down there at the bottom you've got your faux exhaust pipes, a little bit of a diffuser effect finished off in the silver trim. Now, in case you're wondering, you can tow with the hybrid model. It's going to be reduced just slightly from the gas model to 2,000 pounds. And let's pull back here and talk about our safety systems as well as our warranty, as always. So with the warranty, you've got that same Kia class-leading warranty, 5-year, 60,000 mile basic warranty, 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. And then in terms of the safety systems, you're going to have standard forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, as well as auto high beam headlights. However, if you want the adaptive cruise control with stop and go, as well as the rear auto braking and the highway drive assist systems, that will require you going up to the fully loaded SX Prestige model. But anyways, guys, that's it for the exterior. Now let's go ahead and hop onto the interior, where you're going to see a lot of luxury, a lot of new technology on board. With the next generation Sportage hybrid, you do have their smart entry system standard on the EX trim level and above. That does come with the newest key fob as well as remote start. And to get inside, there's not a sensor behind the handle, just press the black button to unlock. But let's go ahead and get inside and get out of this crazy wind here and check out this brand new interior. So of course there's a little bit of an influence from other Kia products, but it is mostly its own unique design, and I really like the way this looks, especially here with the hybrid model. We have a lot of premium touches on board, and I do like this color. And speaking of colors, let's go ahead and talk about that. So your base LX trim level is the model that will have cloth seating. That will come in just black, but the EX trim level has this. It's called Syntax Leatherette. And we have black options or this option here, which is really cool. This is a navy blue and gray combination. So you notice the seats here are mostly gray. But as we look around the cabin here, including the entire upper dashboard, this is all navy blue. I absolutely love this. Very premium, very bougie type of interior color to have, and very similar also to what we saw in the Sorento plug-in hybrid when we sampled that earlier in the year. If you go for the fully loaded SX Prestige, that will also have this, but it has another exclusive color to that model, which will be Carmine Red. Now let's turn on over here to our seats. All but the base model are going to come standard with the 10-way power adjusting seats with 2-way lumbar support. And talking about our different interior materials, again, nicely finished cabin for sure in this class. Nice armrest here with the leatherette stitching details, the color contrast above that. Up top, it is all going to be padded plastic. And like I said, we have the EX trim level, but if we had the SX Prestige, that would get us the memory seats right there. In terms of our windows, they're going to be one-touch auto up and down for the driver and passenger only. And then moving up top here, we do have a nice padded plastic on the upper dashboard, stitching details all through there. Piano black accents, really cool vent details right through here. We do have a faux aluminum, and then all through the middle here is going to be finished in a nice piano black trim. This console does look a little bit different for the hybrid model. Now on all but the LX, press the button to fire it up. As I fire it up, you will notice a gauge cluster here. This is the smaller gauge cluster that comes on the LX and the EX trim level. If you go for the SX Prestige, that's going to come with the full 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, which blends seamlessly under one piece of glass inside of this other main display here, which is also 12.3 inches. Regardless, though, one of the things I like is, even though this is not the full-sized one, it really looks almost exactly the same. You just can't change the design. You don't have as much customizability. You also don't have the blind spot camera monitoring system built into it like you would on that trim level. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, we've got the newest Kia design. Nice look to this, leather wrapped, of course, manual adjusting, and you do also have steering wheel heating. Now, turning over here and checking out our interior storage. Here's the center console, nice and large, plenty of space inside, felt lined. And then we have this very versatile space right through here. As you can see right now, it's in the cup holder configuration, but if I take that key out, I can slide these bad boys in like that. Kia brags that you can put an iPad vertically through here. More importantly, what we experienced earlier today, you could put a large bottle that won't fit normally. If you fold that in, it will fit. And then when you're ready to go small again, go like that. Up in front of that, we've got a large storage area again, rubber lined, has a wireless phone charging pad down at the bottom, 2 USBs, one of those is a Type-C. And then the design of this console does look a little bit different than the gas-powered model because, as you can tell, we do have a rotary shifter. So operation of this, quite simple. It's going to twist to D for drive, twist the opposite way for reverse. And when we head into reverse, we will be greeted with this standard backup camera. As you can tell, it does have active trajectory. We do also have standard rear parking sensors. However, if you want the 360-degree camera system, which also has that really cool 3D view, that will require you go for the top-end SX Prestige for the hybrid model. Then for park, just press the P, of course. Now over to the side here, we do have our heated seats. These are going to be included on the LX with all-wheel drive and above. Seat ventilation actually comes on the SX Prestige, which there's still a lot in this segment that don't offer ventilation as an option. And as we come on up here to our general climate controls, we have this panel here, which is a very unique aspect of this Sportage model. So with the hybrid model, you have standard dual zone climate control. You may be asking, where is the climate control? Well, if we press this button right here, bam, it becomes the climate control. So we can use these same knobs here to make adjustments to the temperature. And the gas-powered LX would come with a manual climate control setup. This is touch capacitive, but I will say it is super sensitive. So it hasn't given us any trouble through using it today. Even though, you know, some models do have some difficulty with sensitivity in this area, it does actually work very well. And like I said, if you just press that button, bam, the same area is going to become your volume knob, your tuning knob, as well as all of your things regarding your media. Now, as far as the audio system, we're not going to sample it out today because we're on a very limited time frame here. But you do have a 6-speaker sound system with the LX and the EX, 8-speaker Harman Kardon sound system when you go for the top-end model. And let's go ahead and talk about the main display. So I've already talked about the fact that this is a large, kind of seamless, curved display setup here. This is going to be the 12.3-inch display. That's standard on the EX and the SX. The LX is the only model which will come with a smaller 8-inch display in place of this. Really nice looking graphics. I love how it kind of just blends in with the frame that it's inside of. And in terms of features, when you have the larger display, you will have built-in navigation as well. And of course, we do have some dedicated hybrid screens as well that we can use. Keep in mind, though, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay are both standard on both screen sizes. However, it's going to be wireless on the smaller 8-inch display, wired on the higher-end models with the larger 12.3-inch display. And finishing up the front of the cabin here, we do have a manual dimming mirror. You have LED lighting, which is touch sensitive. And then up here at the top, we've got the large panoramic sunroof. This is optional on this EX trim level and then standard on the top end, SX Prestige. All right, so now I'm back here in the back seat. Of course, a very, very important aspect for a family crossover such as this. And I have good news, very good news if you are concerned about space, and that's the fact that the Sportage has moved up to what Kia says is a class-leading figure. We're looking at 41.3 inches of rear legroom, 39.1 inches of rear headroom. That is almost the same as the larger Kia Sorento, so that's definitely a very cool accomplishment. And I'll kind of give you guys some different angles on this. I'm 5'8", this is my driving position. As you can see, lots of space. I can slide my feet easily underneath the seat, almost stretch out. It is really, really very nice back here. In terms of features, we've got these little map pockets back here. One of the neat design characteristics is these back of the headrest can be used to hang clothing or whatnot. We also have some vents over here, and then as far as the USB ports, they're built into the sides of each seat. They're going to be USB Type-C ports. We've got a little bit of storage down there at the bottom as well. And if I pull this down, that's going to be your center armrest there. Do have nice cup holders inside for that. And the seats themselves, they are going to be able to recline a pretty decent ways. I don't know if you can actually make that out, but it does recline back a pretty decent way. So you can really get comfortable back here in the back seat of this Sportage. But now let's go ahead and check out the cargo capacity. All right, so let's head on up here to the tailgate. Standard on the SX Prestige and optional on the EX is this power tailgate. It does have the hands-free smart opening abilities as well. And let's take a look inside here. So as you can tell, there is quite a lot of space inside of this model. And one of the really crucial things is the fact that this is not any type of real reduction from the gas-powered model. So in terms of the actual numbers, it's 39.5 cubic feet behind this second row. If we fold that down, we're going to have 73.7 cubic feet as a maximum cargo capacity, and that is less than a half cubic foot reduction from the gas model. So that is basically a super small number that you are not going to notice in real life, and obviously quite an accomplishment since we have the additional battery packs and things underneath of the floor to contend with. Now, Kia does say this is best in class, and I can believe that because it looks absolutely gigantic back here. Now, in terms of features that you're going to get, we do have LED lighting, 12-volt outlet. I'll fold these seats down so you guys can take a quick look at what that's going to look like when you fold it down. It will go flat, of course, if I move the front seats forward. As you can see, just a tremendous amount of space. If I can open up this lower area here, we'll see if there's anything underneath. We do have a spare tire underneath here, even though this is the hybrid model, so that's definitely pretty nice. Let's get in the passenger side here. This is going to have a manual adjusting seat over here with the EX trim level. Inside the glove box, very generously sized, plenty of space. It's not felt lined or anything, but it is dampened. And then as we go up here, we have our sun visor, has a mirror, we have a separated light, and then you can detach it and also extend it. All right, so there's full throttle in this 2023 Kia Sportage Hybrid. So we're behind the wheel of the hybrid model, and that of course is going to give you quite a few advantages. So what you have on board is a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that's going to be paired with an electric motor and your lithium ion battery pack. So the total power on board is going to be 227 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. Now, of course, we drove the X Pro, we off-road, but we also did drive it on the street, and it's quite a bit of an advantage in terms of power. You're actually up 40 horsepower if you go for this hybrid model. Of course, you're also going to have that increased fuel economy and stuff, which we'll talk about in just a second. But, by the way, I do have a special guest today. Like I mentioned on the outside, Mason couldn't join us for this trip, but we do have drive partners here, and I have met Jake from Out Motorsports.
Howdy, howdy.
So here we are, like I said, taking out this Sportage hybrid.
Yeah, it's been nice to be able to drive both drivetrains back to back. And we drove the X Pro all the way up to where we did the off-roading, and now we're driving the hybrid all the way back to the hotel. So good amount of drive time with both.
Right, and we were just talking about this. Out here on the canyon roads really makes a big difference with this hybrid model. You have steep inclines here, high altitude. So when you're talking about versus the standard naturally aspirated 2.5 liter, way less strained with this hybrid model being a turbocharged motor, and then off the line with that electric power, you really have a nice kick off, you know, like when you're setting at a red light or whatever and you just kind of take off. Yeah, it really just feels like a lot more spunky.
Yeah, it's much more like willing wherever you are in the revs or in the pedal.
Right.
And yeah, just having 2 extra sources of propulsion beyond the regular gas motor between the turbo and the electricity is, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of extra power at 227, but it makes a difference.
Absolutely. The other thing I really like about this powertrain and what you just witnessed was that we actually have a real transmission. We have a 6-speed automatic transmission. Most of this car's rivals come with an eCVT. And, you know, that of course is just gives you that more traditional feel that I know a lot of you guys like. We always see in the comments of people being like, oh, CVT, CVT, CVT. But you do actually have a traditional automatic with a hybrid. Pretty rare feature, and just nicely. Like I said, just feels nice behind the wheel. Additionally, so you got front wheel drive and all wheel drive options for this. With the LX is going to be the only one that's available with front wheel drive. But that does have a particular advantage, and I guess I might as well go ahead and mention this, and that's with fuel economy. So all of this car's competitors, that would be like your CRV hybrid, your RAV4 hybrid, the Tucson hybrid, those are all going to come standard with all-wheel drive across the board. But since this one is offered with that LX front-wheel drive, that is going to bump that fuel economy up all the way to 43 MPG combined, which is a fantastic number. That's actually higher than all those vehicles I mentioned with all-wheel drive. Now, if you choose to have this with all-wheel drive, like with this example we're in today, the EX all-wheel drive, it's going to get 38 combined, which is pretty much right in line with what those other vehicles offer. It's a little higher than the Tucson hybrid, which has the same powertrain. But you're looking at really phenomenal fuel economy. Again, quite a bit of an advantage over top of that gas-powered model.
Yeah, the gas-powered, I think, is 23 city, 28 highway, and, you know, that's not terrible, but if you can afford the slight upcharge to get into a hybrid, I think it's worth it, both in how much power and torque it makes, how it delivers all that, and the fuel economy is really a pretty wild advantage there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as the price difference, you might be wondering about that. Generally speaking, you're looking at about $2,000 more for the hybrid powertrain over top of the gas-powered model of the equivalent trim level. Like we've mentioned at several points in this video, it is available in less trim level options than the gas-powered model. But if you're looking at the equivalent trim level, that is going to be about $2,000 more for the hybrid setup. But you know, you are getting a lot of different advantages with this, and honestly, after driving them both back to back, I have to say I really think that it's worth it. I feel the same way in the Tucson hybrid, which has the same powertrain arrangements.
100%.
Better is better. I feel the same way about the RAV4 hybrid. Just in this category, the hybrids really offer a lot of advantages for not a lot more money.
Yeah, they definitely do, and you know, I don't think anyone's buying this category of vehicle to be super sporty or super fast or anything like that, but they have the advantage of being quicker, and you get better fuel economy, and if you live somewhere where you're at altitude, where a regular naturally aspirated gasoline engine loses some power, having both the turbo and the electrification totally makes up for it.
Right.
And you know, right now we're on canyon roads doing 50 some miles an hour and the gas motor's just off and we're cruising on the battery.
Yeah, I know, that's really was quite cool. I've been actually looking at that, but yeah, you were going quite fast and the engine just completely off.
Yeah, it's a really neat experience. So drivetrain wise, I think the hybrid is the one that we're both leaning toward.
For sure. And by the way, you can't feel that transition either between the engine on and the engine off. I mean, it's really, really smooth, really quiet. Just the overall, the 1.6 liter turbo, it's a small displacement engine, so it doesn't make much noise, even when you're accelerating hard. And that does just kind of add into that overall effect of not really hearing or feeling the transitions between when the gas engine is fired on or off. I do also want to mention the plug-in hybrid model. We're not going to be driving that right now. It's not quite on sale yet, but it is going to be on sale soon. And there's going to be a lot of similar elements to this hybrid between the two, but critically, you're going to have 32 miles of pure electric range with a much larger battery pack. Look forward to driving that in the future and bringing a review to you guys on the channel. But you know, if you're interested in driving pure electric for 32 miles, which is probably enough for a lot of your guys' commutes, you know, make sure to stay tuned to the channel and stay tuned to your local Kia dealership, because it will be coming right around the corner.
Yeah, I think they said the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid will both be available together end of Q2 this year.
Right. And
so coming up fast.
Yep, and the gas-powered model, that is already on sale. It's been on sale for actually a couple months. And we did do a quick review from a dealership vehicle back when it first came out. Now, of course, as you can tell, we are out on a canyon road. Obviously, that's not this vehicle's natural habitat by any stretch of the imagination.
She's doing fine.
But yeah, it really is holding its own. Definitely right in line with what I'd expect for a vehicle in this class. I mean, body roll, pretty controlled. Steering, very light. Doesn't have a lot of feel, but pretty fast, pretty accurate. I don't have any real complaints about it in terms of being compared to all of its rivals. It really holds its own. It's not quite like a Mazda CX-5 or CX-50, but, you know, pretty decent overall.
Yeah.
I do want to go ahead and also talk about today's slam dunk and airball. So, as you can probably tell by how much positive things that we both had to say about the hybrid powertrain today, that really is going to be my slam dunk. So I won't reiterate all the advantages that does give you, but definitely very impressed by this hybrid setup. And then in terms of the airball, this is the same airball that's been in so many different Hyundai, Kia, and Genesis products for me. I do get annoyed that the larger 12.3-inch display does not have the wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. That's really increasingly becoming an expectation, and it's strange to me that you get it on the base model, but then if you choose anything except for the base model, then you lose that ability. It's just odd to lose features as you go up the trim structure.
So we want to talk pricing?
Yep.
All right, so this being the hybrid, they offer fewer trim levels than the gas-powered Sportage, but they offer the LX, the EX, and the SX Prestige. Like Drew mentioned, the LX can be had as front-wheel drive, so your cheapest entry into a hybrid Sportage will be the LX front-wheel drive for $27,290. You'll add a little bit more to move up to the EX with all-wheel drive. That comes in at $30,990, and then the fully loaded SX Prestige, again with all-wheel drive, is $36,190.
Right, and those prices are pretty good. I mean, for reference, we had a RAV4 Hybrid Limited on loan a few weeks ago. If you guys watched that review, you noticed that it was $43,000 after destination. So definitely you do have value baked in, as you would expect for a Kia model. It's still the case with this all-new Sportage. Well guys, thanks so much for joining me on this in-depth review of the all-new 2023 Kia Sportage Hybrid. We hope you enjoyed this video, learned some interesting things about this brand new model, and of course, as always, if you found any use in this video, enjoyed it, or if you just love cars in general, make sure you go down, subscribe to our channel, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, because you're going to see a lot more competitive vehicles to this, as well as tons of different types of vehicles all across the automotive spectrum. Take care, and we'll see you next time.